What was it like raised in the US as a half Japanese?
In America, as a half Japanese, I think it's very common for everyone to have like a sort of identity crisis.
If you can be born again, would you choose to be mixed race? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This is Yoyo Japan. So today, I'm out on the streets of Tokyo asking half Japanese and half American what was it like raised in the US. I interviewed half Japanese people who were raised in Japan before, so I've decided to interview half Japanese who are raised in the US. So let's find out. Could you introduce your background?
So my name is Zack. I'm from America. I'm currently 23, but I came here to study at a Japanese university. But I did all my growing up in America.
Where in the US are you from?
So I'm from the West Coast, so California, near Los Angeles.
Okay. What was it like being raised in the US as a half Japanese?
So in America, as a half Japanese, I think it's very common for everyone to have like a sort of identity crisis. So especially like the half Caucasian, half Japanese, they oftentimes have that identity trouble. So for me, it wasn't really like that growing up. Like everyone looked at me and they're like, "Oh, he's Asian." So that was always my identity. But then it's kind of funny because it's the reverse. When I come to Japan, even though I want to identify as full Japanese, like everyone kind of treats me as a Caucasian person. I don't know why. Maybe because I have some Caucasian features, but I try my best to speak Japanese here in Japan. But I still sometimes like they treat me like a foreigner, which isn't bad. But like I noticed it was kind of interesting.
What's the difference you noticed between Japan and the US after visiting here?
The biggest differences are cleanliness, attitude, and social behaviors, and then also obviously etiquette. And what I mean by that is I think Japan is just more clean in general, also more efficient, obviously. But the people here, especially workers, I feel like they take the job more seriously as opposed to America. And I've never had a rude encounter with anyone here yet. And that's what I really love about this country is everyone's just very respectful and everything's orderly. So
if you had a chance to be born again, would you like still be mixed race?
that's difficult. I think like it's a yes and no answer. I obviously like I should be comfortable in my own skin, but there's obviously pros and cons. Like I can experience more than one culture, and the only problem is feeling accepted within that culture. But I think maybe not. I need to kind of feel comfortable in my own skin. So I probably wouldn't want to be born any other way. Like because I really enjoy being here. So it's like it's nice being mixed, so I can enjoy like more than one culture and experience it. So I think that's one of the pros to being mixed race is
Lastly, like could you introduce yourself in Japanese?
はじめまして、ザックです。今23歳です。日本で留学生です。
Could you introduce your background?
Yes, so my name is Francis. I was born in Yokosuka, and then when I turned 3 years old, my dad was in the military. I moved to America, and yeah, grew up in America most of my life. And then almost 3 years ago, I moved back to Japan. So right now I live in Japan.
Okay, so you've been here for around 3 years right now.
Yeah.
What was it like being raised in the US as a half Japanese?
Well, my experience is a little bit different. I think for me, face-wise, I look very American, very white. So with that, I think I didn't go through as much. But when people did find out I was Asian, like in elementary school, I think it's common in America for like little kids to tease you about being Asian. They'll say that you're like Chinese or that you eat dogs or like little stuff like that. And I remember like when I went to school with like my mom's bento, like they would say like, ew, it's stinky, toka. They say that kind of stuff. But I think overall my experience being half Japanese in America wasn't bad. It was fine just because America is such a culturally diverse country. So I never really went through like horrible things.
Have you ever struggled with your identity?
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of half people go through this similar thing where they don't fully feel like they fit in with one culture. Because when I'm in America, I miss Japanese things. And then when I'm in Japan, like my American side comes out so much. So a lot of half people, I just never feel like I fully fit in anywhere. And then obviously identity-wise, I look so white. So that's another thing. Being in Japan, people treat me like a foreigner, but I am Japanese. So there's that element of it too.
What's something that you think you can only learn about Japan by living here?
when you visit here, I don't think you realize how stressful it is, the work culture. That's one thing. When I was a kid, I didn't know. When I was a kid, it was just vacation, so I enjoyed the fun stuff. But then when I moved here and worked here, I realized how much of a struggle and strict Japanese work culture is. Yeah, definitely the work culture is the biggest thing that I think.
If you can be born again, would you choose to be mixed race?
I think so. It's just fun. You get to enjoy two cultures, and not everyone can say that. You know, I was born with a Japanese mom and an American dad, so I just think you get to enjoy more experiences, you get to meet more people from different countries, and you get to figure out people's different way of thinking. And I don't think a lot of people get to experience that. So yeah, there's like difficult things about being mixed race, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives.
Lastly, could you introduce yourself in Japanese?
はじめまして、行田フランシスです。今20何歳だっけ、27で、横須賀に住んでます。はい。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。Could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Toshi. I'm 25 years old. Most of my life in America, well, especially in Texas, and I moved to Japan about a year and a half ago.
What was it like raised in the US as a half Japanese?
Since I am, I look Asian and I have a Japanese heritage, I have some Pacific Islander heritage, so I never really had any, like an issue or any kind of like obstacles because I was part Asian and being half, Japanese, yeah.
Well, like, have you ever struggled with your identity?
In a sense, yeah, a little bit here and there. If I'm in Japan, even though I look Japanese and I do speak Japanese, I still identify as like I'm part Japanese. So I'm not like fully immersed into the culture, but instead when I'm back in States, it's like I know who I am and I believe what I believe and I can say my opinions a lot easier and I can be very, very me. But I feel like in Japan, it's like a lot of people expect you to be the same with the majority. So that kind of like puts me a little bit in the unique situation. Let me put it that way.
So what's the difference between Japan and US you noticed after visiting Japan?
The biggest thing, I know this doesn't like apply to all Japanese people, but I feel like Japanese people are, I might get a lot of controversial opinions on this, but they're very superficially nice. They don't bother you in public. They kind of act like they don't give a crap about you, but inside their head they're going wild, right? They kind of judge you in the inside. I mean, but they don't like express that feeling. But whereas in the States, especially in the South, like Texas, if you are doing something weird and you think that person's doing something wrong, they'll tell you like, hey, that's probably not cool, right? And they don't really judge you. When they're nice, they're really, really nice. They kind of don't really care about what other people are thinking, and they kind of prioritize on their own happiness, their family first, and stuff like that. So that's probably one of the biggest differences.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you tell me the situation where you encounter those kind of people who are kind of, superficial?
Especially at work, I think. I feel like a lot of Western or Texas people, if you're doing something wrong or if you are doing something that bothers other people, like obviously they'll come up and say in a very respectful way, saying like, hey, that's probably not cool. You might want to do this instead of this. But Japanese people tend to like not come up to that person and just tell directly. Instead, they'll just go up to the manager or tell somebody like, rumors, right? And I just think it's a little bit like, come on, like, you could just tell me, let's talk it out, let's be respectful towards each other. You don't have to make it a whole fuss about it.
Lastly, like, could you introduce yourself in Japanese to them?
はい。はじめまして、トシと言います。25歳です。今、東京で仕事してるんですけれども、インタビューしていただいてありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。ありがとうございます。Thanks for watching up until now. Does any of you watching have similar experience with them? If so, share some experiences in the comments. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like this video. Okay, see you next time.